Welcome. I am Adam. Some of you know me as Phi. My friends call me Nature. Today I'm just making a quick video. Quickly before I get into that, I've got this second chair set up here at the moment because here momentarily, Mark Dreams is coming by and him and I are going to record a little podcast about our trip that we had last Tuesday night. But before that, I figured I wanted to make a quick little video about my experience as we were coming down from the trip. So, I do the Sober October every year, and I usually wait until my birthday trip to do my first dab. And it's usually as I'm coming down from my birthday trip that I do the dab. So, this time got interesting. I did my dab, got one ready for Mr. Mark Dreams. He did his, and, then I came out and sat in this anti-gravity chair. And let me tell you the experience I had. Cannabis can definitely be psychedelic, I don't really care what other people say. This has happened multiple times. Even one year I did my first dab not coming down from a trip, which was last year because I went 3 months without smoking weed or any cannabis at all. And that first trip, man, I had a pretty wild meditative experience with my dog. I'll have to make a video on that another time. But this one specifically, I sat in this anti-gravity chair, and this was about, around the 8-hour mark after dropping the L. So we were pretty good and down, still just feeling the after residual effects. And as I sat in the chair, I had a Liquid Stranger Stream tripped set that was playing, and it was near the end. And near the end of that, there's a part that's playing that says, "Forget your name, forget the people." And even as that video ended and went into the next video, which was Savage's 2023 Envision set, that part where it said, "Forget your name, forget the people," just kept repeating in my head like it was on a loop. And I just laid back in this chair and was staring at the TV. And even though Savage was on, that part from the Liquid Stranger set just kept playing in my head. And there's a very interesting face in the background of the Savage set. And it began to look kind of, I don't know, I guess you could almost say DMT-like. And I was just staring at the TV, and my wife was down here, and she had said something to me, and I just ignored her. And she said, "Oh, you're just going to ignore me?" And I had to. I felt like in order to go into this meditation, I had to ignore her, forget my name, and forget the people. And that's what helped me kind of blast off. So as I'm looking at the TV, give me 1 second. I'll cut this part. Maybe I won't cut it. I had to shut off my heater. It was about to kick on, and I don't want it to be loud in the background. And as I was looking at the TV, it's like the face began to open up. And it's like I got pulled into it, shot into hyperspace. And everything from the TV came out and became 3D. And as I was going, it's like these streaks were flying by my face. Imagine a sci-fi movie where they hit hyperspace in a spaceship and the stars just look like these long lines, and that's what ended up happening. And from there, I literally forgot my name. I forgot who I was. And there was even a moment where I questioned. I was like, oh my God, did I lose it? Is this it? Did I finally lose it? Kind of like, Terrence McKenna said, like sometimes questioning, like, is this the one that did me in? And I felt like I was at the festival that Savage was playing at in that video. And I felt like I was stuck there. And it felt almost as if I was in like heaven. And all of a sudden, like, I don't know if it was my higher self communicating to me or what, but it was like, hey, stay focused. So I began focusing my mind again instead of letting it drift off. And as I focused, it's like all of a sudden I began to come back to reality. And when I did, I got into this very interesting trance. My trance is I'm always up dancing around. And a good way in my head I feel like I can describe this dancing around is like somehow I'm rearranging the matrix of my own life. Like I'm seeing bits and parts of my future and like pointing out, yes, I want this to happen. I don't want that to happen. And Mark and I were talking about getting back into music together. And as I'm running around the house, like I kept envisioning him and I like playing concerts. And I don't know if this has to do with manifestation or what, but it's like in my mind, I was telling myself, this is what I want. And now putting in the work, I believe we can make that happen. So it's almost like in this trance, I was showing myself what I truly want in life and to stop ignoring it. Because I wanted to do music from a young age, and there's always been this fear of doing it. And now, well, not just the fear, there's been a lack of confidence. And now it's like my confidence has been restored and that fear has dissipated. So it's like maybe I was in my mind convincing myself, like, yes, if you put in the effort, you can make this happen. The crazy part was this trance went on for like 3 hours, but it just seemed like one long moment. And when Mark gets here to record our little podcast episode, I'll have to ask him what it looked like from an outside perspective, because, I've only got my own perspective. The interesting part was I was almost able to pull him into the trance with me, because I clearly remember him dancing around the living room with me. And there's a little loop in my house, and I actually was running around that for a while. The interesting part of him and I dancing around was like we were moving a lot, but it's like I could feel his energy wherever he was in the room. So like him and I never collided once, even if we weren't looking at each other. It's like we danced right around each other. And for many years, I've wondered what this dance is or where this dance comes from on my trips. And there's always been this thing that I just call the thing. It's like multiple torus energy fields flowing up out of each other. And my dance kind of mimics that. Like it starts off going really wide around the room as I'm looping. And then it starts to get tighter and tighter and tighter until I'm like spinning right in the center. And then it goes back wide again and then back to the center. And the way my hands are going is, I feel like similar to the way the torus energy shoots out from the center and wraps back around. But this thing, I've always called it the thing. Recently, this past year, I was watching a video on YouTube, and what was mentioned was something called the Hopf vibration. And it was mentioned in this video that this is how everything in physical existence, if I'm remembering correctly, comes to be. And it was interesting seeing an actual like depiction of this Hopf vibration, and I want to take the time to learn about it more so I can better understand it. But this hop vibration, seeing the picture of it, it went off in my head that that's the thing that I've called the thing for so many years, and that my dance mimics. Outside of that, there's also like this chanting that I do, and it's not any human language that I know, but the rhythm of it and whatever words I use, it sounds so interesting, and the way that it makes me feel. The way it makes me feel is almost as if like I'm doing something to cleanse the planet, as silly as that sounds. So now I'm going to backtrack because sometimes my mind works like a Quentin Tarantino movie. There was a point in my meditation when I was still sitting in the chair before the TV opened up. Actually, rethinking it, could have been after the TV opened up and I was flying through hyperspace, before I came back to reality and started dancing around. Sometimes I do these very deep ohms, and I was doing that, and I began to loudly, like very loudly, say, "No!" like screaming it. And the reason for that was, in the trip with Mark, we got talking about the true ego and the false ego. And for me, the false ego is the voice in my head that's constantly telling me I can't do things, making me be afraid of things, giving me very little confidence in my abilities. And I feel like from 2018 up until this year, that false ego is kind of like wreaked havoc in my life. And it caused me to fall into a deep depression because I wasn't doing the things I enjoy in life. It was, telling me I'm not good enough at those things. And it's like me screaming this no. I was worried the cops were going to get called. I was screaming it so loud. And it literally, and I'm sure it was just the vibration within my own being, but it felt like the whole house was going to come down, and that like I was about to create like a black hole on Earth. It was so powerful. And I came to the conclusion so jump forward again, Quentin Tarantino movie. As soon as I got done with the trance, I laid down on the ground, stretched my back a little bit, and literally passed out on the ground. Because after 3 hours of dancing and running around, I was exhausted. And I took like a little 3-hour nap before our one friend came by, because we ended up doing some MDMA later in the day with him for his first ever time. Mark had to run somewhere and do something, so I napped until they came back. And when they came back, it all just kind of clicked when I woke up. And what I was doing there is I literally felt like I was ridding myself of that false ego. That false ego is also what stopped me from making these YouTube videos for years. It was a fear thing. And now that fear seems to be gone. And I'm very eager to keep making these videos again. No matter what people think. I find the psychedelic experience to be one of the most interesting things on the planet. And I really, really enjoy talking about it. So me doing that, I feel like I was trying to keep that false ego from re-entering my energetic system, from re-entering my mind. And, since that trip, obviously work can stress me out sometimes, and I get a little stressed out, but it's not these negative thoughts like I was having prior. My trip on September 21st was amazing, and I feel like that did help restore the confidence, but there was some times where some of those negative thoughts were popping back up through October, some doubt, just being unsure of myself, and I feel like this last experience kind of ridded that doubt and made me more sure of myself and my abilities, and that if I do put my mind to this YouTube channel and to music, that I can actually take it somewhere. So even after 12 years, I never really started getting into these trances until 2015. So I'm coming up on 10 years of getting into this trance and just trying to understand it, because, it's so foreign to the human experience, and I'm just still after so long trying to make sense of what exactly it is. However, I've gained much more control of it and being able to navigate it. Because there's been times where I've kind of lost my mind and been unaware of reality and not navigated the trance too well. And I think that trying to control it in the past and force it to come on or make it go the way that I want has actually caused me to kind of lose touch in those experiences and not be able to be in control. And this is where the paradox of surrendering control made me feel more in control. And one of the issues I've had in life is letting go and surrendering control. I've always wanted to be in control of things. It's funny, my numerology number's a 9, and the biggest life lesson for a number 9 is learning to let go. And as strange as it sounds, just turning 35, I feel like I'm finally learning to let go. The reason I haven't stopped doing this, because I have had someone ask, well, why do you have to trip still at the age you're at? Like, shouldn't you have gotten the message by now? And I want to make a whole separate video on this topic, but I'm not a big fan of the idea when you get the message, hang up the phone. There's always new messages, and there's so much to learn about yourself in life that I feel like you can just keep learning. It's not like I'm out here tripping every week or every 2 weeks. It's at maximum, it's like once a month. And in the summertime, I usually don't trip as much because, I prefer to be outdoors and enjoying things. It's usually the winter time I trip a little bit more, when I can't go outside and enjoy nature as much. I'm not a big fan of the cold. So, I haven't really talked to Mark since that trip and the night we rolled. So I'm actually really eager to ask him when he gets here some questions about what the trance was like for him and what it looked like from an outside perspective. And I'm sure I probably look like a crazy person, but the trance has become a staple of a lot of my trips. And it's not every trip I get into it. I just kind of flow with it. When I feel it coming, I get up, start dancing, and I go with it. There's been several times too, and it sounds crazy, but it's almost felt like I was about to levitate as I'm dancing in these trips, especially when I'm spinning in place. And maybe not physically levitate, but perhaps the feeling comes from when I fully learn to let go. My mind will levitate to a place it's never been. Because like I said, I'm still learning to let go. I've let go more and more to the experience. But fully letting go of everything, I feel like it's still a process. And it's probably why I haven't fully broken through on DMT yet. Mark had mentioned that you got to fully let go of everything to break through. But DMT has been calling me, so I do plan to do some of that soon. And when I do, better be sure I'm going to make a video. So, I think I might end this one short right here. Doesn't need to be too long. Try to make sure I didn't forget anything from the experience. But I'm sure when Mark gets here, he'll say things that'll trigger more memories, and we'll make a slightly longer video. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick and say how, cannabis can be psychedelic, because it shot me back even deeper than where I was at during the plateau of the trip. So, and I'll probably make some more videos on how cannabis can be psychedelic. And I've been thinking I only want to smoke at most once a week, because I kind of really like how deeply relaxed and meditative and almost psychedelic things are when I smoke very little. So, and that'll also give me some more interesting experiences to talk about and some meditations to talk about. So, yeah, I think for now I'm going to leave this one right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the little story from the experience. I definitely plan on making more and more videos. Uh, Time management is something I'm still getting better at in life. Um, Trying to stay busy with work, music. I got to do my morning routine where I wake up and walk. So today I'm going to be recording 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4 videos that I can upload through the week. Maybe that's something that'll help me out with my time management, is find one day to record multiple videos and then just upload those throughout the week, so I'm not having to try to set everything up and record multiple times a week. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share. Let me know your experiences with cannabis being psychedelic, or doing a dab on the come down of a trip, or if you get into any weird trances while you trip. And stay tuned, because I'll be uploading this video first, and then after that it'll be my little podcast episode with Mark Dreams. So enjoy, take it easy, have a good one.